Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Kwara Television News for tonight. I am Fatima Rashid. You can watch us live on Facebook Live, on Kwara TV, and also Star Times 113, Free TV 502. With me on the news tonight, Kafayat.
Hello, Fatima.
Hello.
A beautiful evening to you out there. I am Kafayat Ajadi. Thanks for joining us.
On our languages desk.
Ekale àsìkò iṣẹ́ látàárọ̀ ìròyìn lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ ló ń dé sójú wòrán láti iléeṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara tó kalẹ̀ sí àpáta Yakuba nílùú Ìlọrin. Ẹ lè rí wa wò lórí StarTime channels 113, Free TV channels 502 àti bó ṣe ń lọ lọ́wọ́ lórí Facebook pẹ̀lú YouTube at Kwara TV. Fọláṣadé Ọ̀dẹ́làbí ni oníròyìn. Ẹ máa bá wa kálọ.
Begin the news with the death of the chief imam of Ilorin, where a delegation of Kwara State government led by the senior advisor and counselor to Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak, Alhaji Sadu Salau, joined the mammoth crowd of family members, friends and associates to observe the Islamic funeral prayer Janaiza for the late chief imam of Ilorin, Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Soli. The government delegation arrived at the palace of the Emir of Ilorin, the venue of the Janaiza, at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Kafayat Ajadi reports that the forecourt of the Emir's palace played host to prominent personalities from all walks of life. Her report.
Aged 75, the 12th Chief Imam of Ilorin, Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Soliu, died on Monday, January 19, 2026, after a brief illness. Earlier yesterday, a government delegation received the remains of the late Islamic leader on behalf of the Kwara State government at the General Tunde Idiagbo International Airport and conveyed it to the palace of the Emir of Ilorin for final Islamic rites. The Emir of Ilorin, Alhaji Ibrahim Sulu Gambari, Ilorin Emirates Council members, and the Muslim Ummah to bade the revered Islamic cleric farewell in a solemn ceremony. The Imam Imale of Ilorin, Alhaji Abdullah Hamid, led the congregation in the Janaza prayer. Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Soliu was thereafter laid to rest in accordance with Islamic rites. Kafayat Ajadi, Kwara TV News. Moving on, the Coalition of Magistrates, President of Grade A Customary Courts and Legal Research Officers of the Ondo State Judiciary has suspended its 2-week-old strike. The coalition embarked on a strike in early January 2026, demanding financial autonomy and improved welfare, a situation that led to court shutdowns and the postponement of cases across the state. The suspension is contained in a statement jointly signed and released by the coalition's leaders, Mrs. O. Edwin and Mr. Shegun Rotiba, on Tuesday in Akure. The magistrate said the suspension followed a series of meetings and agreements. The coalition appreciated its members for their commitment, the executive of JUSIN for its strategic cooperation, lawyers for their understanding, and the general public for their patience.
The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has lifted the ban on public campaigns in Ekiti State following the release of the final list of candidates for the June 20, 2026 governorship election. The resident electoral commissioner in Ekiti State, Bumi Omashayindemi, made the announcement during an engagement with political party leaders and stakeholders in Ado-Ekiti. He confirmed the campaigns will commence on January 21, 2026 and conclude at midnight on June 18, 2026, urging parties to strictly adhere to the approved timeline. Presenting a final list of 12 governors and their running mate, Omashayindemi stated that the process was thorough and compliant with the Electoral Act 2022. He explained that the list was finalized after considering party primaries, nomination forms, and resolving related complaints. The commission had earlier excluded the People's Democratic Party and the Social Democratic Party from the list due to pending court cases over their leadership. Omashayindemi described the publication of the list as the beginning of a critical phase in the electoral process and called on political actors to conduct campaigns with maturity and respect for the law. He emphasized that while parties have the right to campaign freely, it must align with the 1999 Constitution, the Electoral Act 2022, and INEC guidelines. The REC further reminded parties to notify INEC, security agencies, and relevant authorities ahead of rallies to ensure public safety.
Back home in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, Islamic scholars, traditional rulers, and dignitaries from different walks of life have extolled the virtues of the late Chief Imam of Ilorin, describing him as a deeply grounded Islamic scholar whose impact transcended the Ilorin Emirate and beyond. The death of Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Soliu was confirmed yesterday by a family source. Our Government House reporter reports that the late Chief Imam, who devoted his life to Islamic scholarship, teaching and spiritual services to the Ilorin Emirate, was born in Ilorin in 1950. Details of the report.
Through decades of learning and mentorship, late Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Soliu rose to become one of the most influential religious leaders in the state. He was appointed the 12th Chief Imam of the Ilorin Emirate in 1983, a position he held for over 4 decades.
It was a personification of what was all about Islam. He was very generous, was very passionate about peaceful coexistence between Muslims and non-Muslims, between indigenes of the emirate and the state and those who have come to stay with us.
I am personally touched too, and I pray that when it gets to our own time, may we all end well.
We lost a very great man, we lost a very great scholar, we lost a very straightforward person, a very pious, very loving, very kind. We had a lot of attributes that we can say about Imam.
Throughout his tenure, the late Chief Imam was widely respected for his profound knowledge of Islamic teachings, firm leadership, and consistent advocacy for peace, unity, and religious tolerance among Muslims and the wider society.
Lásìkò wọn kò sí ọ̀dọ́ àfáà tí ó dìde. Gbogbo orúwa àsìkò wọn la di imam. Èmi ti jẹ́ ńsìn 24 years ni. Àsìkò náà sì la dé ibi tá a dé. Lásìkò tí wọn ìrẹ́pọ̀ dànù gbogbo tí ń jẹ́ àfáà àti àìmà.
His experience as an Islamic scholar is rare among his contemporaries. Not only that, he has contributed a lot to development of Islam in Nigeria at large. There is nothing we can do now but to just pray that Almighty Allah, in His infinite mercy, grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus.
The Emir of Ilorin, Alhaji Ibrahim Zulugambari, described the late Chief Imam as a man of great honor and piety, whose demise was a monumental loss to the Ilorin Emirate, the Muslim Ummah, and humanity at large. Sheikh Soliu began his Quranic education at Magaji Baboko Quranic School. He was survived by wives, children, and grandchildren. Kafayat Ajadi, Kwara TV News.
And we go to Lagos State, where the House of Assembly has backed the state's executive in the ongoing demolition of structures and shanties erected along shorelines and under high-tension cables across the state. Chairman, House Committee on Information Security and Strategy, Stephen Ogundipe, stated this in a statement in Lagos. The state government, through the Ministry of Fiscal Planning and Urban Development, has embarked on the demolition of illegal structures, especially in the Oworo-Shoki and Makoko areas in the state. Makoko residents have on Thursday protested at the Assembly complex over the demolition of their structures, urging Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to stop further demolition. Ogundipe, representing Oshodi Solo Constituency 1, said the exercise was a necessary step to safeguard the lives and property of residents in the state. The spokesman said the leadership of the Assembly viewed the exercise as responsible and forward-looking. Ogundipe called on residents to remain calm and cooperate with government officials, assuring them that their concerns will not be ignored. He also urged citizens to always comply with building regulations and planning approvals to prevent future occurrences, stressing that collective responsibility is key to avoiding disasters. You're watching Kwara Tv Television News. We'll go for a very short break. I will be right back. Please stay with us.
Good, tasty food is worth living for. Worried about your oil every time you enjoy your favorite meal? Introducing Smart Balance. Smart Balance rice bran oil is rich in gamma-oryzanol. Several studies suggest that gamma-oryzanol may contribute to the reduction of bad cholesterol. Golden Terra Smart Balance oil. Good food, no worries.
Guys, food is ready!
Suitable for jollof rice, stew, spaghetti, and yam portage. Cooked to impress.
You're still watching Kwara State Television News tonight. Thanks for staying tuned. Moving on, and now to far north in Sokoto State, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General of the Nigeria Supreme Council of Islamic Affairs, Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, has officially declared today, Tuesday, January 20, 2026, as the first day of Shaban, 1447 AH for Muslims across Nigeria. The announcement followed the conclusion of the moon sighting exercise conducted on Monday evening. In a statement released by the National Moon Sighting Committee and endorsed by the Sultanate Council, the declaration confirmed that the new Islamic month commenced after verified reports of the crescent moon were received from different parts of the country. The Sultan urged Nigerian Muslims to begin the month with prayers, reflection, and renewed commitment to peaceful coexistence. Shaban is the 8th month of the Islamic calendar and holds special spiritual significance as it precedes the holy month of Ramadan. For many Muslims, it is a period dedicated to increased acts of worship, fasting, and preparation for Ramadan. The Sultan Council received credible moon sighting reports from designated observers nationwide in line with Islamic tradition and established guidelines. Upon verification, the Sultan formally approved the declaration, making Tuesday the official start of Shaban. The Sultan congratulated Nigerian Muslims on the commencement of the new month and reminded them of its importance in strengthening faith and unity within the Ummah. He also called on Islamic scholars and leaders to use the period to promote messages of peace, tolerance, and compassion.
And again, back to Ilori, modesty in character, humility in service, and Islamic scholarship were among the distinguishing features used to describe the personality of Sheikh Muhammad Bashir ibn Salih, the 12th chief imam of Ilori, who transited to the great beyond. Abatunde Jimba in this report spoke with a cross-section of sympathizers and indigents of Ilori Emirate about the life and impact of the late Chief Imam. His reports.
Ancient city of Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, was thrown to a mourning session following the death of Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Ibn Saleh, the 12th Chief Imam of Ilorin and Chairman of the State Council of Ulama. The Emir's Palace, Ilorin, which houses the Central Mosque of Ilorin community, was besieged by all and sundry, old and young, men and women of all strata, who converged to witness the janaza prayer of their late religious leader. It was an emotion-laden moment for the admirers, family members, and the entire indigents of Ilorin Emirate when the ambulance conveying the body of the late Chief Imam stood at the main entrance of the palace. Extolling the virtues and characteristics of the Imam, a cross-section of sympathizers noted that oratory prowess, unique rendition of Quranic verses, Islamic scholarship, and jurisprudence were among his versatilities.
Imam was a honest person, a scholar, a leader, and a philanthropist. Bashir, ọmọlúàbí ni. Bẹ́ẹ̀ sì ni ọmọlúàbí ṣòro jẹ́ láyé. Ẹni bá wá pàdé ọmọlúàbí kó mú dáadáa ni.
He has registered himself in Ilorin beyond reasonable doubt.
Bashir is a man of the people in terms of relating with others. He is not a politician, but he do coordinating Ilorin indigents.
His intellect, captivating eloquence, and enduring relationship with all and sundry they added were part of his unique selling points across the globe. For these sympathizers, Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Saleh, who became the 12th Chief Imam of Ilorin in 1983, served the Ilorin community with diligence, promoting Islamic teachings and virtues, and carved a niche for himself.
He has opened many frontiers. During his time, we know, as it used to be, the city of Ilorin is in peace.
We really lost an epitome of personality, an epitome of humanity.
A very pious Muslim. He is very kind.
His death has since thrown the community off balance, particularly the Ilorin Emirate Council and the Council of Ulama. Babatunde Jimba, Kwara TV News.
In a related development, the Sultan of Sokoto and President General of the Nigerian Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs, Al-Haji Muhammad Sa'ad Abubakar, has expressed deep sorrow over the death of the Chief Imam of Ilorin, Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Imam Saleh. In a statement issued today by his media team, on its Facebook page, the Sultan described the late cleric as a renowned Islamic scholar who dedicated his life to the service of Allah, Islam and humanity, condoling with the Emir of Ilorin, the Kwara State government and the immediate family of the deceased. Sultan Sa'ad Abubakar noted that Sheikh Saleh was widely respected for his depth of knowledge, moral guidance and commitment to Islamic principles. The Sultan also praised the late Chief Imam's efforts at fostering peace and harmony within and outside the Muslim community. He prayed for Allah's mercy upon the deceased, asking that his good deeds speak for him. It was earlier reported that the chairman of the Kwara State Traditional Rulers Council and Emir of Ilorin, Al-Haji Ibrahim Sulugambari, announced the death of the Chief Imam on Monday. In a condolence message issued by his press secretary, Dr. Abdulaziz Arwana, the Emir said the cleric passed away in the early hours of Monday at the age of 75.
And residents of Igbejila, a fast-growing semi-urban community in the Ilorin West local government area, have embraced rapid development. The transformation in the area include the presence of education, health, electricity, and other infrastructural development. In this report, Kwara TV News visited the community for a review of the socio-economic activities. Hawao Dauda completes the story.
Igbejila is a community under Ilorin West local government areas, which serves as a home to public servants, traders, artisans, among others. Known for its vibrant local markets and fish farming activities enjoyed by residents who have been in a peace-loving communal living for several decades. Egbejila community layout shows good road network which links airports, Asadam, Iluoba, Budokau, Odoire, Odoasa, among others. Schools, electricity, healthcare services, all available for the residents. Some residents of the area who spoke to Kwara TV News said living in the area has not only sheltered them but also helped them in growing their businesses and careers.
Environment wa okay. Ó dáa, kò sí ìyọnu, kò sí wàhálà kankan. Ọrọ̀ ajé wa ń yá.
Ìbùgbàpọ̀ tó wà ní ìbàyí ó wà òkè. Gbogbo náà ìfẹ́ náà la fi ń bá wa lò pọ̀.
Ìfẹ́ ń bẹ láàrin wọn. So pàápàá ìlú yìí gangan ìlú àlùbáríkà ni. Ìfẹ́ ń bẹ then ẹnìkálukú tó wá gbé bíbà yìí náà tó kọ́lé síbí ìlọsíwájú dùnú ń bá ẹnìkálukú náà.
They commended the state government for its unrelenting efforts towards the infrastructural development of the area. Our respondents, however, advocate for quick completion of Egbejila Airport Road, which they said will not only ease movement but also boost economic activities. They urge government to help as well in the provision of more health facilities and transformer.
Number one, but nina asilona lomi.
What we just need for this environment is there is no water much, and the road and the light itself is half currents. We need transformer.
Àǹfààní ìjọba tí a nídìí ni pé a bẹ̀ wọ́n, a rọ̀ wọ́n, wọ́n gbìyànjú fún gbogbo nǹkan tí wọ́n ń ṣe, bó a tún gbọ́dọ̀ ní ìdìnnà lọ́wọ́ wọn sí fún títì, omi, pẹ̀lú iná. The hospital wa kò tó, I need the hospital yọ̀kan yẹ̀ tó wa.
This respondent, in her own opinion, said residents of the area are accommodating and supportive. She urged government to help in construction of additional classrooms.
That they are very supportive in this environment and they are accommodating. Please, I need the government to help us to build. There is not enough class, and there are those students are lacking behind. We need enough books for them, stationaries, classes for them.
Wow, Dauda. Kwara TV News.
Still in the news, the Conference of Civil Society for Transparency and Accountability, COCTA, has expressed concern over what it described as a lack of seriousness in concrete action by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, following allegations of maladministration against the Director General of the Bureau of Public Procurement, BPP, Dr. Adebowale Adedokun, and his Chief of Staff, Olanrewaju Obasa. The statement signed by COCTA's National Coordinator, Olumuyiwa Onlede, and the General Secretary, Haruna Abdulsalam, was issued at the end of the group's general meeting held in Abuja. The coalition noted that the concerns stemmed from its earlier peaceful protest at the EFCC office and the former submission of a petition detailing allegations against the BPP leadership, which it claimed have not received any visible or timely response from the anti-graft agency. The group described the apparent inaction as troubling, particularly given the gravity of the allegations and the constitutional responsibility of anti-graft institutions to protect public trust and ensure the proper use of public resources. As part of the next phase of its engagement, COCTA announced plans to stage a peaceful protest at the headquarters of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, where it will submit a fresh and formal petition. The coalition said it would demand a thorough, independent and transparent investigation into the actions of the BPP Director General and his Chief of Staff.
And the Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa, says the agency has arrested no fewer than 77,792 drug offenders and seized about 14,847 kilograms of assorted illicit drugs in the last 5 years. Marwa disclosed these today in Abuja during the NDLEA Commands Awards and Recommendations ceremony, where outstanding commands and personnel of the agency were honored for their performance over the past year. In a statement, the seizures significantly disrupted local and transnational drug trafficking networks, sending a clear message that Nigeria is no longer a safe haven for illicit drug enterprises. It said the agency also arrested 128 identified drug barons who played central roles in major trafficking operations across the country, noting that the successes were the result of deliberate reforms aimed at repositioning the NDLEA for effective service delivery. The NDLEA boss assured Nigerians that the agency will intensify its operations in the new tenure, vowing that there will be no respite for drug barons, traffickers and couriers, regardless of how long it takes to bring them to justice.
Still to come after this timeout are reports from the business, sports and foreign scene. Stay tuned to Kwara Television News.
Guys, food is ready.
Suitable for jollof rice, stew, spaghetti, and yam portage. Cooked to impress.
Once upon a time, there was a land plagued by blandness. Food had lost its flavor and there was nothing left to savor. Just then, the taste maker arrives to restore taste to this land of blandness. All she did was sprinkle, stir, and serve. And from that day on, they knew one truth. All they need is sprinkle, stir, serve.
Taste maker.
Thanks for staying tuned. The federal government has indicated plans to reduce its dependence on borrowing and place greater emphasis on mobilizing domestic resources to fund economic growth. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of Economy, Wale Edun, disclosed this today while speaking on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Edun said the Tinubu administration is shifting its focus on revenue generation as part of ongoing fiscal reform aimed at strengthening Nigeria's economy and ensuring long-term sustainability. He explained that the government is pursuing measures to expand revenue, strengthening the tax system and improve fiscal discipline in response to global economy pressures and rising financial costs.
Moving on to sports, former Ivory Coast international Yaya Toure has rated the Super Eagles as the most impressive team at the just concluded 2025 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco. Recall that the three-time AFCON winner finished third at the tournament after defeating Egypt in the third place via penalty shootout. Overall, Eric Chile's side won 6 of 7 matches, beating Tanzania, Tunisia, Uganda, Mozambique, Algeria and Egypt, but narrowly lost semi-final to host Morocco on penalties. The former Manchester City star Yaya Toure stated that the Super Eagles played good attacking football at the tournament.
And from the foreign scene, the health of jailed Ugandan opposition figure Caesar Bazik is failing. His party said on Tuesday after he was driven overnight to a medical facility in the capital of Kampala. Bazik, a veteran politician who was Uganda's most prominent opposition figure before the rise of Bobi Wine, is being detained in a maximum security jail in Kampala, set to be tried over treason charges, it says, are politically motivated. He last contested for presidency in 2016, which afterwards is said that elections were a waste of time in a country with an authoritarian leader whose authority depends on the armed forces. President Yoweri Museveni, who has held power since 1986, was on Saturday declared the winner of the last week's presidential election. Museveni took 71% of the votes, while his closest challenger, Wine, took 24.7% of the votes, according to official results that Wine rejected as fake. The election was marred by a days-long internet shutdown and the failure of biometric voter identification machines, long demanded by pro-democracy activists to cope voting offences such as ballot stuffing. Basage has been detained since November 2024 over allegations it plotted to overthrow the government. And that report from Uganda has brought us to the end of our package from the English desk. We'll move quickly to the Yoruba desk to meet Folashade Odelabi for the news in Yoruba language. Hello, Folashade.
Kúṣẹ́ Kafayat. Tẹ́ ẹ̀ bá ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ń tan móhùnmáwòrán yín, ìròyìn lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ lọ lọ́wọ́ nílé iṣẹ́ móhùnmáwòrán ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara tó kalẹ̀ sí ìlú Ìlọrin. Ìròyìn ọ̀hún rèé lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́. Àwọn aṣojú ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara àti olùbádámọ̀ràn pàtàkì sí gómìnà Abdulrahman Abdulrazak Sadu Salau ṣáájú wọn ni wọ́n darapọ̀ mọ́ àwọn ọgọ́rọ̀ ènìyàn mọ̀lẹ́bí àti ọ̀rẹ́ láti ṣe ẹ̀yẹ ìkẹyìn fún ìmáàmù àgbà Ìlọrin Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Soliu tí ó jáde láyé. Àwọn aṣojú ìjọba náà dé ààfin ọba ìlú Ìlọrin ní dédé agogo 9 òwúrọ̀ yìí. Aṣojú kọ̀ròyìn wa nílé iṣẹ́ yìí Kafayat Ajadi jábọ̀ wípé ààfin ọba ọ̀hún ló kún fọ́fọ́ pẹ̀lú àwọn ènìyàn jàǹkànjàǹkàn láti orígun mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin àgbáyé. Olóògbé náà dágbére fáyé ní ẹni ọdún 85 tí wọ́n sì ti sìn ní ìlànà mùsùlùmí pẹ̀lú ìpéjú sí ọlọ́lá jùlọ ọba ìlú Ìlọrin Dókítà Ibrahim Sulu Gambari tí ìmáàmù ìmọ̀lé sì ṣáájú àdúrà fún olóògbé ọ̀hún. Wọ́n gba aládùúrà kí Ọlọ́run aláàfin àlùjánà onídẹ̀rakẹ́. Ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo, àgbáríjọ ẹgbẹ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ lẹ́ka ìdájọ́ ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo ni wọ́n ti ṣẹ́wélé ìyanṣẹ́lódì tí ó bẹ̀rẹ̀ láti ọ̀sẹ̀ méjì báyìí. Ẹgbẹ́ náà ló gùnlé ìyanṣẹ́lódì láti ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ oṣù kínní ọdún 2026 tí wọ́n fi béèrè fún ìdádúró lágbọn ìṣúná, ìgbáyégbádùn wọn àti àwọn ohun mìíràn tó farapẹ́, tí ó sì mú kí wọ́n tí gbogbo àwọn ilé ẹjọ́ tó wà ní ìpínlẹ̀ Ondo pa, tí wọ́n fi sún àwọn ẹjọ́ kan síwájú jákèjádò ìpínlẹ̀ náà. Nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan tí wọ́n dìjọ buwọ́lù, tí olórí ikọ̀ náà abilékọ Edwin àti arákùnrin Ṣẹ́gun Rótìbà fi síta lórúkọ ẹgbẹ́ ní ọjọ́ Ìṣẹ́gun nílùú Àkúrẹ́. Wọ́n ṣàlàyé wípé ìṣẹ́wélé ìyanṣẹ́lódì náà wáyé lẹ́yìn ìpàdé ọlọ́kan-ò-jọ̀kan àti ìfẹnukò. Àgbáríjọ àwọn adarí lájọ ẹ̀ka ọ̀rọ̀ òfin dúpẹ́ púpọ̀ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọmọ ẹgbẹ́ fún ìfarajì wọn láti fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ kí wọ́n béèrè fún àwọn ohun tó jẹ́ ẹ̀tọ́ wọn, tí wọ́n sì tún sọ̀rọ̀ èèlò lọ́gọ̀ ẹnu fún àwọn ará ìlú fún sùúrù tí àwọn náà ní. Àwọn onímọ̀ ẹ̀sìn Islam, orí adé, ọ̀ràn ìlẹ̀kẹ̀ àti gbogbo igba ojúmọ́ nítòsí àti ọ̀nà jíjìn ni wọ́n péjọ láti ṣe ẹ̀yẹ ìkẹyìn fún ìmáàmù àgbà Ìlọrin, tí wọ́n sì ṣàpèjúwe rẹ̀ bí ẹni tí ó ní ìmọ̀ kíkún ló kúrò nínú Ìlọrin Emirate. Àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Soliu ni wọ́n kéde ikú ìmáàmù ìlú Ìlọrin náà lánàá. Aṣojúkọ̀ròyìn iléeṣẹ́ Kafayat Ajadi jábọ̀ wípé ìmáàmù àgbà ìlú Ìlọrin tó jẹ́ olùjọ́sìn tòótọ́, olùkọ́ni àti aládarí ẹ̀sìn nílùú ní Ìlọrin Emirate ni wọ́n bí ní ọdún 1950 tí ó sì jẹ́ ìlúmọ̀ọ́ká olórí ẹ̀sìn ní ìpínlẹ̀ yìí. Wọ́n yàn án gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìmáàmù ìkejìlá ìlú Ìlọrin Emirate ní ọdún 1983, ipò tí ó ti wà fún bí 40 ọdún kí ó tó kí ọlọ́jọ́ tó dé, títí di ìgbà tí ó kí dúníyàn pé ó dìgbà. Ìmáàmù jẹ́ adarí tó dáńtọ́ tí ó sì máa ń wá ìlọsíwájú Ìsìláàmù àti gbogbo ènìyàn ìlú. Emir Ìlọrin Alhaji Ibrahim Sulu Gambari ṣàpèjúwe olóògbé ìmáàmù àgbà Ìlọrin bí ẹni àpọ́nlé tí ikú rẹ̀ sì jẹ́ àdánù ńlá fún Emirate lápapọ̀ àti gbogbo jàmáà mùsùlùmí. Sheikh Soliu ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ìmọ̀ Kùránì ní ilé kéwú Magaji Baboko. Ó fi àwọn ìyàwó, ọmọ àti ọmọọmọ sílẹ̀ sáyé lọ. Àgbà aládùúrà kí Ọlọ́run Aláàfin Aljanna Onídàára kẹ́ ìmáàmù àgbà ìlú Ìlọrin. Ìjọmọlúàbí àti ìwà ìrẹ̀lẹ̀ tó fi mọ́ ìṣiṣẹ́sìn ẹ̀dámọ̀nìyàn pẹ̀lú Ọlọ́run Allah ló jẹ́ lára àwọn àbùdá tí wọ́n fi ṣàpèjúwe Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Saliu tó jẹ́ ìmáàmù ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejìlá nílùú Ìlọrin tí ó jẹ́ Ọlọ́run nípè. Babátúndé Jimba bá àwọn ènìyàn sọ̀rọ̀ tí wọ́n sì jẹ́ ní Ìlọrin Emirate láti sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ìgbé ayé ìmáàmù àgbà náà. Ìlú Ìlọrin ló kan gógó bí ìmáàmù àgbà Ìlọrin Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Saliu ṣe kí dúníyàn pé ó dìgbà. Ààfin Emir Ìlọrin níbi tí mọ́ṣáláṣí ńlá Ìlọrin wà lẹ́sẹ̀ kò ti gba èrò lọ́kùnrin lóbìnrin lọ́mọdé àti lágbà níbi jánásà olórí ẹ̀sìn tó kú náà. Ìbànújẹ́ ńlá ló jẹ́ fún àwọn ènìyàn Ìlọrin Emirate bí wọ́n ṣe gbé òkú ìmáàmù dé. Lára àwọn abánikẹ́dùn níbi jánásà ìmáàmù kejìlá nílọrin tí ó bọ́ sí orí àléfà ní ọdún 1983 ni wọ́n ní ó jẹ́ ẹni tí ó kó ènìyàn mọ́ra tí ìpapòdà rẹ̀ yóò sì yọ sílẹ̀ ní Ìlọrin Emirate lápapọ̀. Lórí ikú ìmáàmù àgbà Ìlọrin Sultan ìlú Sokoto tó tún jẹ́ ààrẹ jàmáà mùsùlùmí ní orílẹ̀-èdè Nàìjíríà Alhaji Muhammad Saad Abubakar ti fi ìbànújẹ́ rẹ̀ hàn lórí ikú ìmáàmù àgbà Ìlọrin Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Soliu nínú àtẹ̀jáde kan látọwọ́ akọ̀wé ìròyìn rẹ̀ tí wọ́n fi sí ojú òpó Facebook lónìí ní Sultan ti ṣàpèjúwe olóògbé ọ̀hún gẹ́gẹ́ bí onímọ̀ kíkún nípa ìmọ̀ Islam tó fi gbogbo ayé rẹ̀ sin Allah àti ẹ̀dámọ̀nìyàn. Nígbà tí ó ń bá Emir ìlú Ìlọrin Emir àti ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara kẹ́dùn ikú Imam Sultan Saad Abubakar tọ́ka sí pé Sheikh Soliu jẹ́ ẹni alápọ̀nlé tí ó ní ìmọ̀ kíkún tí ó sì farajì sí ẹ̀sìn Islam tó fi mọ́ sísa ipá rẹ̀ láti jẹ́ kí àlàáfíà àti ìṣọ̀kan wà ní àwùjọ mùsùlùmí. Ó gbà á ládùúrà pé kí Ọlọ́run Aláàfin Aljanna Onídàára kẹ́. Àwòrán ti wí pé alága ìjókòó lọ́balọ́ba ní ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara tó tún jẹ́ Emir Ìlọrin Alhaji Ibrahim Sulu Gambari ló kéde ikú ìmáàmù àgbà ìlú Ìlọrin lọ́jọ́ Ajé látẹnu akọ̀wé ìròyìn rẹ̀ Abdulaziz Arofwuna pé ìmáàmù jáde láyé láàárọ̀ ọjọ́ Ajé lẹ́ni ọdún 85. Àwọn ènìyàn agbègbè Ẹgbẹ̀jìlá tó jẹ́ àdúgbò tí ó ní ìrírí ìdàgbàsókè tó yára ló wà ní ìjọba ìbílẹ̀ Ìwọ̀ Oòrùn Ìlọrin. Àyípadà ọ̀tun ní agbègbè náà bíi ẹ̀ka ètò ẹ̀kọ́, ètò ìlera, ìpèsè iná ọba àti àwọn ohun ìdàgbàsókè mìíràn lọ́lọ́kan-ò-jọ̀kan. Nínú àtẹ̀jáde ìjábọ̀ pàtàkì ní ikọ̀ ìròyìn Kwara TV ti ṣe àbẹ̀wò sí agbègbè náà tí Hawa Dauda sì jábọ̀ wípé agbègbè Ẹgbẹ̀jìlá ló ṣe àkóónú àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ ìjọba, àwọn oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́, oníṣòwò àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Agbègbè náà ni wọ́n mọ̀ pé ó jẹ́ agbègbè tí wọ́n ti ń ta ẹja fún ọdún pípẹ́. Ẹgbẹ̀jìlá ló ní àwọn ọ̀nà tó so mọ́ àdúgbò bíi airport, Asadam, ìlú ọba, Bùdó Kawu, odò ire, odò àṣà àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ tí àwọn ènìyàn ibẹ̀ sì ti ń jẹ ìgbádùn àwọn ohun amáyédẹrùn bíi omi, ètò ìlera tó pójú owó, ètò ẹ̀kọ́ tó yè kooro àti iná ọba tó dúró re. Lára àwọn olùgbé agbègbè náà tí wọ́n bá ikọ̀ ìròyìn Kwara TV sọ̀rọ̀ ṣàlàyé wípé gbígbé agbègbè ọ̀hún tún mú ìgbéga àti ìlọsíwájú bá iṣẹ́ àti ayé àwọn. Wọ́n sọ̀rọ̀ ìlú lógo ẹnu fún ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara lábẹ́ ìdarí Malam Abdulrahman Abdulrazak fún àwọn iṣẹ́ àkànṣe tó ń ṣe lágbègbè náà tí wọ́n sì rọ ìjọba láti tètè parí àwọn ọ̀nà tí wọ́n ń ṣe níbẹ̀ tí wọ́n sì tún béèrè fún ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé tó pọ̀ sí ládùúgbò náà. Alága àjọ tó ń rí sí àṣìlò oògùn àti mímu egbòogi olóró ní orílẹ̀-èdè yìí Brigadier General Buba Marwa sọ wípé kò dín ní ènìyàn tó tó 1,770 tí àwọn ti fi ṣìkún òfin mú fún ẹ̀sùn gbígbé egbòogi olóró àti àwọn ohun tó fara pẹ́ tí ó sì ní àwọn gba ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ egbòogi padà lọ́wọ́ wọn láàrin ọdún 5. Marwa ló ṣẹ̀yìn ọ̀rọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ́jọ́ Ìṣẹ́gun nílùú Àbújá níbi ayẹyẹ ìfúnni lámì ẹ̀yẹ àjọ náà tí wọ́n ti fún àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àjọ ọ̀hún ní àmì ẹ̀yẹ fún ìṣiṣẹ́ wọn láti bí ọdún mélòó. Nínú àtẹ̀jáde náà wọ́n ṣàlàyé wípé àwọn egbòogi tí àwọn gbà padà náà ló jẹ́ ti ilẹ̀ yìí àti ti òkè òkun, èyí tí ó ṣàfihàn pé ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà ni kò lè fararọ mọ́ fún àwọn tó bá gbé egbòogi olóró. Ó tẹ̀síwájú nínú àlàyé rẹ̀ wípé ènìyàn tó tó 100 ni àwọn ti mú tí wọ́n ti jẹ́ igi lẹ́yìn ọgbà àwọn tí wọ́n ń gbé egbòogi olóró náà lọ sí orílẹ̀-èdè mìíràn láti ilẹ̀ Nàìjíríà. Alága àjọ NDLEA fọwọ́ ìfarajìn iléeṣẹ́ náà sọ̀yà wípé yóò ṣe àwárí gbogbo àwọn tí ó bá ń ṣiṣẹ́ egbòogi olóró ní orílẹ̀-èdè yìí tí àwọn yóò sì fi ṣìkún òfin mú gbogbo wọn lọ́lọ́kan-ò-jọ̀kan àti àwọn tí wọ́n jẹ́ alátìlẹyìn wọn tí àwọn sì ti ṣetán láti fi wọ́n jó òfin. Wọ́n ní iṣẹ́ ìwádìí ń lọ lórí àwọn kan tí wọ́n sì wà ní ọgbà àwọn báyìí tí àwọn sì fẹ́ mọ àwọn tí wọ́n wà lẹ́yìn wọn tí wọ́n fi ń ṣe gbogbo iṣẹ́ tí wọ́n fi ń ṣe. Ìròyìn lẹ́kùnrẹ́rẹ́ kò ní jù báyìí lọ. Ẹ ṣeun tẹ́ ẹ ti ń tẹ́tí sí wa. Fatima Rashid Abomire, ẹ jẹ́ á máa relé.
All right, that's the package of our news for tonight from myself, Kafayat, and also from the languages desk for Lashade or Delabi. But before we go, Kafayat, you were at the Emir's Palace during the janazah of the late Chief Imam. How would you describe the atmosphere at the Emir's Palace?
Well, it was a moment of sober reflection. It was a gathering of the who and who in Nigeria. It was a moment of reminder for everyone that death is an inevitable end of every mankind. No matter how big you are, no matter the position you are holding, no matter how influential you think you are, your moment on earth is you writing your own history. And most times, people do not tell you who you are until you no longer exist. The Chief Imam of Ilorin, the late Chief Imam of Ilorin, Sheikh Muhammad Bashir Soliu, has successfully written a good history for himself. He has opened a good record for his lineage, and I am sure that his children and grandchildren will continue to reap from the good deed of their father. Like I said, you can see the clip running on our screen now. People from all walks of life were present. The Muslim Ummah, politicians, Islamic scholars, traditional rulers.
The definition of a mammoth crowd.
Yeah, this is a definition of a mammoth crowd. The entire area was shut down. Lots of people were there to pay their last respects to the chief imam of Ilorin. The chief imam of Ofa was present. He came in yesterday. He slept in Ilorin. The chief imam of Ogbomosho was present.
You have said it.
Stakeholders from all walks of life. And ask me this: why were they there? Is it the first dignitary to die? No, absolutely no. He's not the first chief imam to die. No, he isn't. Definitely there's something special about him. For people to have converged within a short period of time, you need to see what the atmosphere looked like yesterday. It took us more than an hour to drive from the airport to the Emir's Palace yesterday. There was traffic gridlock, and now caused by pedestrians. You need to see people who are not related to him crying. They were not able to control their emotions, despite the fact that he did not die young. But then people felt the heat. It wasn't a sudden death. He's been sick for some time, and he's an elderly person. It is just a privilege for us to live over 60 years. So we should expect our death any moment from 60. But then, despite that, despite knowing his age, despite the title, despite everything, people still felt it. They felt the heat. So,
I want to also allow Shadi to also say something before.
Bí Kàfáyà ṣe ń sọ pé kì í ṣe pé ìmáàmù àgbà wa jẹ́ ìmáàmù ẹlẹ́àkọ́kọ́ tó máa kọ́kọ́ kú, àbí pé èèyàn tó jẹ́ gbajúmọ̀ tó máa kọ́kọ́ kú, àbí pé ẹni tó jẹ́ ìmáàmù àbí onímọ̀ tó kọ́kọ́ kú. Àmọ́ torí pé ìwà ìgbé ayé rere tí bàbá yìí gbé, ẹ wò nígbà tó ti ṣẹlẹ̀ látàná bí Kàfáyà ti ń ṣàlàyé, èrò pọ̀ láàrin pápákọ̀ òfurufú sí inú ọgbà Emir bí wákàtí kan súnkẹrẹ fàkẹrẹ. Kódà àwọn tó jẹ́ tí òun ṣe mùsùlùmí wọ́n mọ̀ lára pé nǹkan kan ṣẹlẹ̀. Ìmáàmù Ọ̀fà wọ́n wá, wọn ò lè padà lánàá, wọ́n sùn. Ìmáàmù Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́, gbogbo èèyàn láti àwọn míì tún dé látòkè òkun. Kì í ṣe pé bàbá yìí ti dàgbà lẹ̀ pé ọjọ́ orí ṣáà ti wà, wọ́n sì ti ṣe àìsàn ráńpẹ́ tẹ́lẹ̀, àmọ́ torí ìgbé ayé rẹ̀ tí wọ́n gbé, ìgbé ayé alálàáfíà, wọ́n dúró bí aládarí tòótọ́ tó dáńtọ́, tó jẹ́ pé kódà tí àwọn èèyàn bá ń sọ pé àwọn tó jẹ́ ọmọ àwọn mọ̀lẹ́bí wọn lọ́jọ́ iwájú wọ́n sì máa jèrè, wọ́n sì máa jẹ̀gbádùn pé ọmọ ta ni ẹ́, ọmọ ìmáàmù ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejìlá nílùú Ìlọrin. Ó jẹ́ ìgbé ayé àfihàn ìjólótìtọ́, ìkóyànmọ́ra, ẹni tó ní ìfẹ́ ìlú, ìfẹ́ ẹ̀sìn àti mọ̀lẹ́bí àti gbogbo Emirate lápapọ̀. Ó tún ṣàfihàn pé ẹni yìí ó jẹ́ èèyàn pàtàkì tí àwọn èèyàn pọ́nlé, tó wáyé pé alábùkù ni wọ́n. Gbogbo eléyìí bó ṣe ń ṣẹlẹ̀ tí gbogbo ẹ̀ ṣe ń rọ́ kẹ̀tíkẹ̀tí kò ní í ṣẹlẹ̀. Àgbà aládùúrà kí Ọlọ́run fi àlùjánnà nídẹ̀ra kó fi kẹ́ wọn, kí ó sì tu gbogbo mọ̀lẹ́bí àti Emirate lápapọ̀ nínú.
Amen. Well, just like they have both said, we can only condole with the family of the late Chief Imam of Ilorin. We also condole with the Emir of Ilorin because it is a death that has actually affected the Emir. I pray that God console everyone of us. Even the Emirates, the state at large, is the loss that we have all felt since yesterday. And we say that God should continue to we pray for the Chief Imam, and we pray that Allah accept his return, grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus, forgive his shortcomings, and also comfort everyone who has felt the death of the Chief Imam. And on this note, we will wrap up the news for tonight. Thank you very much for being a part of it. From Folashade.
Ǹjẹ́ títí di ọ̀la tẹ́tùn máa pàdé wa fún ìròyìn àti ètò lọ́lọ́kanjọ̀kan láti lè ṣe móhùnmáwòrán ìjọba ìpínlẹ̀ Kwara. Fọláṣadé Ọ̀dẹ́lábí sọ pé ó dàárọ̀, òun rè làásùn. Ẹ ṣeun.
Once again, I am Kafai Ajadi. From all of us in Kwara TV, it's a bye-bye for now.
And I'm Fatima Rashid. Thank you very much once again. You have a very lovely night.